The Prime Minister is going. No Prime Minister can survive this. That's the word on the street right now.
It's happening. The Prime Minister is going. No Prime Minister can survive this many MPs losing confidence in him.
But more MPs have said nothing or have shown their support than those who've said they want him to go.
I mean, it's time to be real. He's going, no doubt about it. And
that's what you want?
Yeah. And to pick up on what Nick said about the speech this morning, I thought it was, if I'm being generous, tone deaf. At its worst, I'd say it was downright insulting, because you look at those results last week, we're being swept away in our heartlands by reform in Sunderland, Wigan, Grimsby, Hartlepool, St Helens, Barnsley, Wakefield. I could go on. And to come out in response to that and start talking about Brexit and having free movement again. He didn't talk about free movement. He was talking about free movement of people. He was talking about free movement of young people to go away from the country. Now, those people, they're more bothered about what's going on here. The people I represent in the towns of East Lancashire, Nelson, Colne, Clitheroe, Barnoldswick, they're more interested in here. How do I get work here so we can live our lives in this part of the country, which we love? And I love living there, and I love this country. And yes, we want to travel abroad, but for that to be the focus, when you're fighting for your life as the Prime Minister, it was absurd. And then the Scunthorpe thing, if I may just finish. I totally agree with taking it into public ownership. And in fact, most of the public thought we already had. We were talking about a technical detail here. And it just about summed it up. It was proceduralism to the very last, where he talked about it being subject to a public interest test. And I thought to myself, you do not understand my constituents.
But this
and you
is
need to speak for the country, and you need to speak to the country. And I'm sorry to say, I really am sorry to say, he cannot do that. Right. So we need a new leader for the Labour Party, and our country, most importantly, needs a new leader.
This was Labour MP Jonathan Hinder, who described Kier Starmer's speech this morning as absolutely tone deaf. And quite frankly, I believe that is true.
I respect Toby, I respect his position, but my strong belief is that we are still ignoring our heartlands, our working class base. We've been moving away from them for a very long time, and this risks being the end. And the end of the Labour Party altogether. So if we don't make a change, a very, very big change, and it will be difficult for any future leader, then we will be destroyed.
OK, well, let Mr.
And you know the thing is,
to you.
We'll deserve to be destroyed.
Go ahead, Mr. Perkins.
Well, sorry, I missed the question.
You will be destroyed if you carry on with Kier Starmer, is what Jonathan Hinder is saying.
If we continue ignoring our working class heartlands.
Well, I mean, we certainly shouldn't ignore the working class heartlands. As a Member of Parliament in Chesterfield, absolutely recognise the extent to which post-Brexit people feel that things haven't changed quickly enough. But I think that the idea that just changing the Prime Minister, I mean, what happens we go into next elections in a year's time and we lose badly again then? Do we get rid of another one? You know, we have to offer people stability. I think we need to do a better job of promoting what we've actually achieved. We had a lot of people voting against us last week because they felt the party hadn't done anything on immigration. Actually, we'd seen 42% reduction in small boat arrivals. We've seen a massive reduction in the asylum backlog. On the NHS, my constituents are experiencing it getting better. We need people to be coming onto the airwaves, including the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, and talking about the successes that we've had. Yes, the Prime Minister does need to up his game, but we also need a little bit more calmness and a little bit more loyalty, I think.
Can I ask, Mr. Perkins, what you think about the fact that the Home Secretary, we understand, has asked the Prime Minister to lay out a timetable for his resignation?
Well, You know, I don't know about that. She hasn't said that to me, and I've not heard it in public. As I say, I think that the Prime Minister deserves the support of the people he's put in the cabinet. You know, it's fair enough if someone thinks they need to be the Prime Minister, then lay out an alternative case. But we've got Catherine West saying she wants to be Prime Minister on Saturday, and by Sunday she's packing in. It just makes a joke of the party, and I'm afraid it makes a joke of our country. And there's people looking at our country who massively admire the way that Kier Starmer has been acting on the international stage, who are looking at us askance at the desire for a party who he's led to victory 2 years ago to throw him overboard the first time we've had tough election results. So, you know, I don't know what Shabana said. I've got tremendous respect for her, but what I do know is I think we just need some calm heads. Let's hear the King's speech and let's do a bit of a better job at highlighting what we've done, as well as, of course, identifying those things where we have got it wrong.
We have more Labour MPs as well, Toby Perkins and Jonathan Hinder, saying if we don't make a change, Labour will be destroyed. This makes a joke of our party and it makes a joke of our country. Now MPs of Labour are literally on the side of the people of the UK. Now they're seeing it for what it is. How didn't they see this months and months ago? Why has it came to this terms? Why has it came to May? How is it went to May? It's almost been a year and they just have realised he's useless.
Can I just ask though, if there is a cabinet split over those saying Kier Starmer needs to stay, he won a mandate 2 years ago, and those, we understand Shabana Mahmood, senior woman in that cabinet, saying set out a timetable, where does that leave the running of the country?
Yeah.
Why is everyone laughing?
Well, because it's a brilliant question.
Yeah.
Well, the Prime Minister will continue in office, as will the Cabinet.
With zero authority.
During that time, in the same way that we've seen in these previous instances. And just to pick up on something Toby said...
Sorry, in the previous instance, you mean before you were an MP when we had Boris Johnson going to Liz Truss to Rishi Sunak?
Changes of Prime Minister don't necessarily happen overnight, do they? There is a period of time
Can you
during which
remember
we know
what that was? I know it was before you were an MP.
But what I would agree with Toby on is we can only do this once, this Parliament. So we need to get it right.
That's what the Tories used to say.
We need to ensure that we have an orderly transition. So he needs to set that timetable to say we want to have a new leader by a certain date, let's say party conference or something like that, so we can all go forward with that stability in the interim for the sake of the country.
We have Vic Darby as well, basically worried about what is going to actually happen to the UK and who is actually going to be running it, because it's an absolute mess what is going on right now, and I cannot believe it, to be honest. It went to May we're in now, and he's still in a job. If you please leave a like on this video. We are trying to grow this channel to be the biggest news channel in the UK, exposing what's really going on. Please subscribe, and yeah, this is terrible. Why hasn't he not gone yet?